What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and today we are talking about Garry versus Vicente Luque. I'm going to give my full matchup preview and some factors that I think you guys should consider going into this fight. Garry is the youngest UFC star that is making a lot of media headlines recently, but it's been for all of the wrong reasons. I'm not a big fan of Garry, and I'll get to that in just one second. I first want to break down the fight, and in this matchup, I'm going to be predicting Garry to win by decision, but not very confidently. I'm telling you right now, Vicente Luque is probably the best underdog in this entire card. I'm giving him, obviously, a 45% chance to win because he is so dangerous and very durable. When you talk about a physically imposing guy, Vicente Luque is him. He's a guy that will get hit, and he relies on his chin sometimes to land the bigger shots, but that can be a method that works very well against an Garry who doesn't have great power and doesn't have a great chin, in my opinion. Now, I know Garry hasn't been knocked out yet, and we've seen Song Kenan only drop him, but he survived it, bro. Song Kenan doesn't have Vicente Luque's power, in my opinion. And also, I believe Garry got knocked out recently. Firmly believe it, actually. Brendan Allen, he came out and said in an interview after he beat Paul Craig that Mr. Garry was knocked out in sparring, and there's a name in that Kill Cliff camp that he should not be calling out. And I do believe it was Shavkat Rakhmonov, because there was another clip of a coach or someone who trained at ATT that was talking about, I really wish I could tell you how Shavkat and Garry's training went. It's something that a lot of people would like to see. I just put the two together. I'm going to say Shavkat knocked out Garry. If that's not the takeaway, you can take away that Garry has been knocked out at some point in his training camp. I know it probably happens from time to time again, but it's not a very good sign, especially seeing you're going into a fight with a very powerful, very physically imposing fighter like Vicente Luque. The way Garry wins this fight is pretty simple. He stays at range. He stays away from the power of Vicente Luque. He stuffs any takedowns that comes his way, and he outpoints him or eventually finds the KO. I think it's going to be very hard for him to KO Vicente Luque, and if he really hunts for the KO, that's how he loses this fight, because then he can get caught in these brawling exchanges with Vicente Luque. Then Vicente Luque can go out there and find the massive shot. But Vicente Luque can also just take him down and expose his ground game, because we have seen him get taken down once each by Darian Weeks and Gabe Grain, and twice by Song Kenan. Vicente Luque is going to be better at holding him down than these guys. Like, he's got better submissions, and he's also got more powerful hands. So when he's on top of you, he's much more dangerous than these other guys. But they weren't able to control him. The thing is, Vicente Luque might be the guy that's able to control him from on top. But I do think Garry, with his skinny, he's kind of got a slippery build. He's very quick. I do see him being able to pop back up to the feet if he is taken down. But Vicente Luque is very good at controlling the clinch, kind of slowing down the fight. We saw it against RDA. He landed 8 takedowns on RDA, who is not a bad wrestler in his own right? So I think Garry probably did drill a lot of takedown defense. I think he's going to have a somewhat smart training camp, which is why I'm trusting him here. And he's only, I believe, 24, 25 years of old, and he's going to be improving rapidly. I understand his performances against Gabe Green, Darian Weeks, Song Kenan, they're all very worrying. And if Vicente Luque lands that shot that Song Kenan did, Garry probably has a loss on his record by now. But I think he's going to be improving. And I think he's trained with Vicente Luque. They've been training partners. They've probably sparred. And when you look at a power puncher that doesn't have a deep bag, if you don't know what a deep bag is, it's kind of like a bag of tricks that they have. Vicente Luque is not the guy that's going to get his jab going, use the teep to the body, rip a couple of leg kicks. You're not going to fall into Vicente Luque's trap. It's kind of like not a one-dimensional game plan. He does have some tools for sure. But the goal is to make it a firefight. And Garry has all the tools in the world to make this a very technical fight. I'm just praying. Actually, I'm not praying because I'm cheering for Vicente Luque. But if I'm betting on Garry, I would be praying that he's not going out there looking for a finish. He's going out there to win this by decision and just outclass Vicente Luque, because that's how he wins this fight. And I do believe he's going to win it by decision. And honestly, I don't know if Garry's hardest shot, his cleanest shot, knocks out Vicente Luque. It might hurt him. But I'm not even confident that that happens. So this might even be a very pointless goal if Garry decides to go out there and put a statement on it. And I could see him doing that because he's going to be emotional all week. You already see on his Twitter, he's deactivating his Twitter, making it private, removing all the comments from his posts because he's getting so much hate. And he keeps talking about, why are you guys hating on me so much? You're just hating on me because I'm good. I'm like, dude, if that's the case, why are your comments taken off? Why is your thing private? And then he's also talking about, he's like, I got concerns for my family that they're going to get hurt. Dude, people are just hating on you. They're not threatening you. He's not in the greatest emotional state right now. I'll get more into that a little bit later. But I don't trust his chin, and I don't really trust his power. He's not going to have that super powerful jab, that super powerful right straight that's going to make Vicente Luque really want to stay out of range. I think Vicente Luque can afford to take a couple of shots from Garry, move forward, and land the bigger shot. If I'm Vicente Luque, I'm going to go out there like a madman. I'm going to go out there like a hitman with a purpose and do everything I can to catch Garry on the feet, or I'm going to look for a very grapple-heavy game plan early and see how that works out. Because not only that, maybe he fails a takedown, but on the exit, he could find a lot of success as well. I just think in the sparring sessions, Ian Garry's seen a lot of Vicente Luque's game. And based off of that alone, he probably handpicked his opponent, because I don't know why he would go from fighting Jeff Neal to fighting Vicente Luque. Well, I know Jeff Neal was injured, but I think at this point, Jeff Neal probably could have been rebooked against Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry probably has had some sparring sessions with Vicente Luque where he sees holes in Vicente Luque's game. He sees himself having success against Vicente Luque. But I do want to mention, we've seen time and time again sometimes that these power punchers land the bigger shots that the technical guy really does not expect, because you're going to hit harder in a fight. You're going to swing harder in a fight. There's not going to be headgear on. It's not going to be 20-ounce gloves. I know it's not 20 ounce. I'm just saying some random shit. It's not going to be the UFC gloves on, right? So who knows? Ian Garry does get hit. Gabe Green, Darian Weeks, Song Kanan, Neil Magny a little bit, not as much. But even then, like, they connect. Vicente Luque is probably the best, most definitely the most dangerous striker he's faced, and the most dangerous grappler, potentially the best grappler he's faced so far. I don't understand the 4-1 underdog odds. It's crazy to me. It's a joke. Do not throw Ian Garry in your parlays. On paper, it's kind of a recipe for disaster, but we know that Ian Garry has tools to keep this at range, get his jab working, and we have seen Vicente Luque multiple times throughout his career have a big hole in his game on the feet against the straight punches from Jeff Neal, Wonderboy Thompson, and there's one more fighter I am not mentioning right now. Oh, Bilal Muhammad landed a lot of jabs as well. Now, he had a lot of stance switches, but the jab was money for Bilal Muhammad, and he was able to keep Vicente Luque at range and kind of just moved his head a couple of times, and Vicente Luque wasn't able to find the big shots. So, Ian Garry is going to be the pick. I think he gets it done by decision, but I am going to predict that Vicente Luque gets one of the first couple of rounds by potentially finding the takedowns or even dropping / hurting Ian Garry. If this is prime Vicente Luque, I'd probably take prime Vicente Luque over Ian Garry. But the thing is, after getting knocked out by Jeff Neal, I don't know if your chin's going to be the same. Apparently he had a brain hemorrhoid or some tumor or cancer in his head. I know that's probably not what it was. But he had something wrong with his head that was potentially life-threatening if it would have gone the wrong way against RDA. And now or maybe it was RDA, Jeff Neal, something like that. Thank God he's fine. Thank God he's okay. But he hasn't looked very explosive lately, and you're going to need to be as quick as you possibly can be when you're taking on the quick Ian Garry. I know they got the same reach or something very similar. Maybe Vicente Luque even has the reach advantage. But Ian Garry is 6'3", and I would bet that he's got the leg reach advantage for sure, because the dude just has super long legs. Now, I think I'm done breaking down this fight for the most part. Oh, the leg kicks. I want to mention the leg kicks. He's got some pretty solid leg kicks as well. The leg kicks can work against Vicente Luque if he's really circling, getting his movement going, landing a couple leg kicks, landing the jab. I think the straight punches, especially the jab, is going to be nothing but straight money. That bread and butter for Ian Garry in this matchup. So we're going 29-28 decision. Like I said, 55% chance Ian Garry wins this fight. But dude, Vicente Luque is a dog. If anyone can find an upset, it's Vicente Luque. I'm just going to trust in the fact that Ian Garry's quicker, more athletic, reaching his prime, and he's going to be improving at a rapid pace. But I'm not going to look over the clear holes in his game. Okay, now let's talk about why me and all my homies, we mess with Vicente Luque, and we don't fuck with Ian Garry around here. Alright? Ian Garry's not that motherfucker, man. He's trying to be Conor McGregor. I hate when he's going out there saying, you do what you're told. And I get he's Irish and he's going to have a similar accent to Conor McGregor, but you don't have to copy exactly what he's saying. It's not promotable. It's annoying, dude. You're nothing but annoying. Which makes him a star, because he's going to be one of these guys that everyone hates on. He's going to be must-watch TV because everyone wants to see him twitching on the canvas, flatlined, out cold. Everyone wants to see it. I do. I don't want him to die. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but like a nice little flatline would get me happy. You know, as a bystander at home, that would be a good feeling. Why I don't like Ian Garry? Let's get back into it. Let's talk a little bit about the whole Ian Garry media spree, whatever it has been, right? So recently he's gotten a lot of hate and a lot of backlash because it's been discovered that his wife's ex-husband, lives with him and is his dietitian. Now his wife's ex-husband eats meat, is on a normal diet, and Ian Garry is on a vegan diet because of this guy. I don't know about his wife, whether his wife's vegan or not, but his wife's also 40 years old, and she wrote a book on how to be a wag, which essentially means how to wife up a pro sports player and a true athlete to really get that money that you need. And Ian Garry happens to be that guy. And by the way, it's like a 15, 16, 17, some crazy like age gap. Just a weird scenario. And Ian Garry, on top of all that, he talks all this crap about, oh, whatever. So everyone comes back, they find all this stuff out. They're like, is Ian Garry a cuck? I mean, it seems like it, dude. He's shown up with herpes on his lip like once or twice, right? It seems like he's a cuck. So everyone's hating on this guy, and they go into his comments, they're hating on him. If you haven't seen the MMA Guru, a couple other MMA YouTubers, and I believe Sean Strickland as well, have put a lot of hate on this guy's name. He's done nothing but threatening to sue them. After this guy has talked a lot of crap on Neil Magny, I think he didn't talk that much crap on Daniel Rodriguez, but Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, he was going crazy. He put a mugshot of Jeff Neal on a t-shirt. He thought it was funny, really a corny joke, but okay, whatever, buddy. And against Neil Magny, he went out there. Neil Magny said something like he beats his kids, but he kind of just meant he punishes them, probably spanks them. It really wasn't anything that I took as, oh, Neil Magny's a dad abuser. It's not based. Ian Garry. He's going out there acting like he's serving justice in the world by hating on Neil Magny, not letting him speak at the press conference. And now Neil Magny might lose custody of his kids just because of that stupid, brash statement. If you want to talk about people that he has rubbed wrong, we're talking about Brendan Allen. Sean Brady comes to mind, Leon Edwards as well. He's gotten kicked out of a lot of gyms. There's just a lot of fighters that don't like this guy as well. It's not just me. You can see he's kind of two-faced. Cameras are always on this guy. And not only that, it's not just because media, it's because he's bringing a cameraman with him everywhere, filming all the training sessions, which definitely is annoying as a fighter. And he's super loudmouthed as well, right? You can be cocky. There's nothing wrong with being cocky, but just be able to take shit after you talk all that shit. Now that everyone's coming at him, he deactivates his Twitter, makes it private, eliminates all the comments from all the posts he's getting hate on. He's just a soy boy, man. Look at him, dude. He's got freaking white girl tattoos. I know for a fact his wife handpicked his tattoos. And it's just like, I don't know. I hate to call him not a man because he's going in there fighting. This dude's a pussy, bro. I mean, let me scrap with him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's got a pea head. The way he looks kind of pisses me off. But I can relate because I got the skinny neck thing going on too, if I'm being entirely honest. I got a little bit of a pea head myself. But something about Ian Garry, man. I just don't like the guy. I think he could potentially really be over in his head in this press conference. Colby Covington's going to chirp him a little bit. Probably Patty Pimblett a little bit too. Sean Strickland's going to be making some headlines, right? I bet you they have a press conference. It's Sean Strickland the day after. I think it's Friday this week. And they're going to ask Sean Strickland about how he feels about Ian Garry. And he's probably going to go in, make another headline about Ian Garry the day before his fight. Ian Garry's probably going to be in his own head. All right. I think that's going to conclude this video. Ian Garry, he's probably going to work the teeps to the body. He's going to work his jab. He's going to have a lot of success with the straight punches. He'll work in some leg kicks. He's going to be moving in there like a madman. He's probably going to look very good out there, but I think there's going to be one of those rounds that is very close. Vicente lands a takedown, does some damage on the feet, and they'll give it to Vicente Luque, probably one of the first two rounds, but Ian Garry will make the adjustments. He will have seen a lot of Vicente Luque's game in the training room, but he can get knocked out and he can get finished, and I'm here to see it, man. That's going to conclude this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.